Hi, I'm Vishruta logging in from NYC.
Have you forgotten where you are at
Yeah.
this point? Hi, I'm Asa and I'm logging in from Home Sweet Home, India.
Yep. Okay. So what is this episode about really? So I went into this like sort of rabbit hole like few days ago about like the friendships that I've had for a while and who I talk to, who I don't talk to anymore, why different friendships have evolved differently, how people I've once called best friends are not necessarily best friends. And then I've like gone into this even deeper rabbit hole of what exactly is best friends. Is it you being a best friend to them or them being a best friend to you?
Stop. We got it. Friendships. You can tell how excited Vishruta is about this episode, given the fact that she completely abandoned our introduction. But here's hoping that you all have been listening long enough that we don't need it anymore. But as a quick recap, this is episode 3, season 2 of FFS, and today we're discussing what probably should have been our first episode.
Ever episode.
Yeah, friends and friendship. So take me through the rabbit hole. I am buckled in
Okay,
and ready.
firstly, this is the first episode I properly made notes for. On my
Wow,
Cupidity
look at the
notebook, I
dedication.
don't know if you've seen it before, but as you
It
can
says,
see,
don't let idiots ruin your day.
yeah, my new mantra. Mantra. So I'm kind of excited about this episode because I'm like I've created these segments and I'm just gonna like make you say things on the spot.
Okay.
But
Putting me on the
let's
spot. Let's do it.
yes. So we have 4 segments. We are
Okay.
going to start off with what you don't like in friendships.
Okay.
It
Easy.
can be it can be anything that you've sort of seen evolve in a friendship and you've grown out of it. Or something that you've noticed when you're making friends with a new person and you're like, okay, this is why this person cannot be my friend. It can be
Okay.
either. But I have a list, but you can get started.
Okay. Things that I don't like in a friendship. Number one, I don't like when people keep me guessing about what I mean to them. It doesn't mean that you have to call me your best friend or not best friend, or I not that way, but I don't like to not know where I stand for someone, and that includes like expectation setting or reliability or reciprocity, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
But mentally, I have cataloged who's who means what to me over the years, and it's very important for me to know where I stand in their lives, because then otherwise I will set the wrong expectations, and then the whole high school drama nonsense
So, do you
happens.
like prefer having a conversation? Have you ever had that conversation to understand like who they are to you and who you are to them, or is it
No,
more like organically just understood?
it's very organic. I think in most of the also disclaimer, this applies to like people that are very close to me. Doesn't apply to like every single person I meet. But it's happened very organically. I'm one of those people who has the same best friends, so-called best. I mean, they're going to hit me if they hear this part. But the same close friends that I've had since school. Like I met them in 5th grade, they're still the people closest to me, or I met them like a decade ago and they're still closest to me. And just because we've sort of grown up through the different phases of life and been there for each other, supported each other, etc., it's very organically visible who means how much to me. And the cherry on top of this is I got married, which means that a lot of my friends like showed up for things, and there was very clear distinction.
I vividly remember you creating your guest list, and I think no experience like that to understand who your friends are and where they stand in your life. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, that experience really helped solidify. So yeah, that's definitely my number one thing that I don't like in friendship. The other thing that I would say I don't like is hiding things. And by that I don't mean that you are
Mhm.
supposed to come and tell me everything. Please feel free to like set a boundary
Yeah.
and be like, I don't want to talk about this. That's fine. But I don't like to be second guessing. What is she thinking? Is she hiding something from me?
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
So I think the bottom line is I don't like any guesswork in close friendships. I
I
think they
can
should be
tell.
transparent.
Clearly, guessing is the problem.
Yeah.
But kind of building on that, like one of the things that I had written on my notes is that, like, there are some people who you think you're close to, right? Because you
Yeah.
tend to share everything with them. They ask you the right questions, and you have a whole conversation about your life. And
Yeah.
obviously, you feel close because of that. But then, like, when the conversation ends, you're like, oh shit, we didn't talk anything about their lives. They haven't shared anything
Yeah.
personal. So I feel like sometimes I feel a little unsafe around them, especially like after the conversation, because I'm like, did I overshare? Is
Yeah.
this a actual like relationship here? Or are they just like trying to like take things out of me?
Get the tea. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess like that definitely is one for me. What else? So the other thing that is like truly, truly important is people who gatekeep friendships. And this is like, I mean, I would say it's partly a hot take because I think I'm someone who is very, very open about mixing friend groups and friendships, and like all my friends know all my friends.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me,
Yeah.
the way it works is um, I'm going to introduce you, right? It's up to you if you want to be friends with them. If you don't get along,
Yeah.
it's completely okay, right? For me, it's just easier like that because I'm like, I love it when my friends hang out with each other.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm still the center of the conversation, and I love that. But
Never mind.
and I also fully understand that some people don't like mixing friend groups because they're nervous about how different friend groups get along with each other and how their relationships might be slightly different with
Yeah.
different friend groups. That is fully understandable. My problem is with people who specifically gatekeep some of their people and like never let you meet them, or like even when um say like you have a friend and then there is me and we don't know each other, right? But say like there is something that we will enjoy doing. Like it
Yeah.
can be going to a concert or, like a game night or painting or something that, all three of us could do together. But you
Yeah.
specifically make it a point to not initiate that plan because you're like, I don't want them to meet. I don't want them to become friends. Right?
Hmm. Interesting.
And yeah, I'm like, it makes me feel like either you are insecure about your friendship with that person
Hmm.
or with me, or you don't trust me enough to think that I'm not going to steal anyone from you. And honestly, I don't think anyone can steal
Yeah.
anybody from anyone.
I don't agree to that, but okay. I don't agree to that. So I never thought of it from a perspective of don't want these two people to meet. Like common occasions like birthdays and stuff. I always do
Yeah.
it together with like all of my friends because more the merrier. But there have been instances where, I've not wanted to meet two people together, not
Hmm.
because I have an issue with, sorry, this is something with my hair. Not because I have an issue with them meeting, but because maybe there's something that I want to talk to you about that I probably won't be able to talk in front of
Hmm.
another person, or I want that other person to tell me something because I know they're going through something, but they might not do that if they're with you. For me, it's never been a black or white situation, like not like, oh, you always mix friends or you always don't mix friends. For
Yeah.
me, it's very dependent on what is the purpose that I'm meeting this friend for. Like you said, if it's a concert or a party or like, just something casual, something chill,
Yeah. I
more the
mean,
merrier.
I
Why
think
not?
one-on-ones are important to build deeper
Yeah.
bonds with any relationship, right? But I think
Mm-hmm.
and that is not going to make you feel like you're gatekeeping someone because you would
Yeah,
have
for
met them
sure.
in other contexts. For me,
Yeah.
I think you can tell, like it comes from this insecurity of I don't want them to become friends. So I think that is what like always gives me an ick.
A full confession without going into the details of it. I have had friends who've, like got to know each other and then completely forgot about me. So I have been burnt like that in a bunch of
Feel
occasions.
about it, because the way I feel about it is if they didn't meet through you, they could have met through other means, right? It's not like you
Yeah,
can
maybe.
stop people from becoming friends. So
Yeah.
if they actually wanted to forget you, they would have forgotten you even if they didn't meet. So
Yeah, might be mature of you at right now. Like 28-year-old Asta fully agrees. 17-year-old Asta did not feel like that.
enough.
So
I mean,
I think this has a lot to do with just the stage of life that you're at and how
mm,
grown up you are.
yeah,
But not gonna lie, like it feels bad if two of your like, and
yeah,
these were like people really close to me, like my bestest friends.
mm,
And for that to happen, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, come
yeah,
on. Like at the end of the
yeah.
day, you trust these people, you love these people, and
Fair
instead
enough.
of it becoming a nice, wholesome like group, and I'm not saying you can't meet without me or like whatever. No, your
I was
individual
gonna
friends.
say a wholesome threesome, and I was like, no. But
Thank you for. Never mind. You said it anyway. But yeah, it I think you grow out of it, and there's I mean, you make new friends, you have new life experiences,
yeah.
and it just passes, I guess.
I agree. I have one more. I don't know if you have more.
Wow, your list is damn long, bro.
Yeah. I think it's just about people who kind of cheer for you. There are always people who are going to congratulate you, be happy. I'm not even going to say pretend to be happy, but like be happy if something good happens in your life. But somewhere down the line, you know that they are kind of looking at you as competition. Right? Every time
Mm,
there's something that good happens in your life, it somehow always goes back to either I'm in distress and it's not happening to me, or
yeah,
like sometimes it comes out in ways like, oh, this happened to you because you had this going, your way.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you end up feeling like they're not truly happy for you.
yeah. I
And
get
with your
that.
best friendships, I feel like, you don't want that. You don't want them to be half happy for you. And
Yeah, yeah. You can tell when someone is genuinely cheering you on and
yeah,
really just wants what's best for you, versus when someone wants what's best for you as long as something great is happening for them too, or
yeah,
they want for you one level below what is happening for them,
exactly. Yeah. Or
and that's not a
it's
nice
just
feeling
the
to have at all.
most comfortable. Yeah, no, I agree, I agree. One more thing before I cut my list. But this actually, I was just talking to a friend and this came up. It was actually her telling me that she used to be that friend and she's not that friend anymore. Like, shout out to personal growth and self awareness. But she was telling me about how she used to be this friend who immediately goes to a solution giving mode. Like, any friend who goes to her, um, with anything, she would always be like, let me solve it. Like, let's
Yeah,
do this. And this is what the solution to this is. And now she's become this person that she's like, 99% of the problems I cannot solve. Or
yeah,
what I think is the solution in my head is not going to solve it for them. Right.
yeah,
So my job is to sit there and listen and,
yeah,
maybe break it down with them. Like, I'm someone who's really looking forward to let's break it down kind of friends. Right. So I'd
yeah,
love to do that. But more often than not, whatever that person's gonna say is probably something you've thought of. So,
yeah,
it and them saying this is the solution, this is all you have to do, go do it, instead of letting you rant is a problem. And I am clapping today for her that she's understood it herself and she's grown out of it. So
yeah.
like kudos to her.
I think I would love to be asked that question. Do you want a
Yeah.
rant? Do you want a solution? Because
Yeah.
sometimes in certain situations, you're very overwhelmed and you just want someone to, nudge you. Like, okay, why don't you start with doing this? Why don't you just, um, I would love to be asked that question. I think it'll just clear up the fog in my head, for a minute.
I think the
So,
problem is when
yeah.
they're like, this is the solution, do it and your problem will be over. That
You
in
know
some
what the
ways
You know
trivializes
what the
your
worst
problem
part is?
also.
That's not even that's not even my problem. My problem is when they give you a solution
Mm,
and you don't take it, and
mm,
then they like make it sound like you have personally like humiliated them.
yeah.
No, it was my problem. Like, thank you for offering a solution, but that's all. It doesn't become your responsibility. It's still
Mm,
my responsibility, my problem, my life. So yeah, I think kudos to that friend.
yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. All her friends will be very happy.
Okay. Enough
Okay.
negativity. Moving on
Yeah.
to some love. What do we really like in friendships?
For starters, something that I really like in close friends is the
Mm,
ability to talk nonsense, but also to be able to actually have a meaningful conversation. I can
mm.
only do small talk for a certain like time. After that, I'm
Like
drained. I'm done.
30 seconds.
Yeah, my small talk tolerance is surprisingly low. But yeah, like I like relationships where you can sort of juggle between having fun with each other, bantering with each other, to having a genuinely serious
Yeah.
conversation. It just makes you feel that much at ease that you don't have to hold up a certain kind
Mm.
of conversation throughout the time that you're with them. So that's definitely my number one. What about you?
I think this is again, I don't know how people feel about it. I feel really strongly about this. I love good question. What do you mean you don't feel strongly about things? That just means you are shallow. I
That
don't
that
I
should have been your number one thing you don't like about people, not friendships.
Yeah, correct. I agree. I agree. Yes, deep thinking and feeling strongly are two things that I truly love about people in general. So, if anyone cares about being liked by me, please follow those two steps. Okay. I think this is what I feel strongly about is I love friendships where I have the space to call them out and they have the space to call me out. Because I
Yeah,
really value being called out, like for the right things, right? If they can make me a better person. And that can be like things as small as telling me that you're pronouncing this word wrong, like this is how it's pronounced, to like
yeah,
telling me that, you're doing something that's like self sabotaging, right?
yeah,
So, like just recognizing patterns and
yeah.
feeling secure enough to let me know that I value that in friendships. And in friendships where I care deeply about them, I want to be
Yeah.
able to tell that to them without having to think constantly if they're going to mistake me.
Building on that, the space in a relationship where you can actually go up to someone and say, I didn't like how you did this, or I didn't like how you spoke to me, or I don't like how you dealt with this,
Yeah.
etc. I think that gives you, and okay, not just the space to say it, but also the space for it to be received
Mm.
positively, maturely, and been sort of knowing that even if I say this to them, we're just going to have a conversation about it and that's going to be it. It's not going to be the end of our friendship or it's not going to
Yeah.
shatter our foundation or anything like that. I think that security is priceless in a relationship. Really, I mean, you and I did that whole day in San Francisco. We sat and we spoke about everything that, we liked, we didn't like, things that
Yeah.
we were comfortable with, not comfortable with. When the day ended and we parted ways, I felt like I'd had a constructive conversation and not like, oh my God, what if she doesn't want to talk to me anymore? Or what if,
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part, right? Like while having the conversation, before having the conversation, after having the
yeah,
conversation, at no point did I
yeah,
think that what will this do to the friendship? Because
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we have a combined understanding that
Yeah,
the friendship is bigger than any of this. And these are things that we're doing to resolve it to.
yeah. You know what I love about a friendship?
Yeah.
It'll be really funny, but I love when I bring someone home.
Mm.
They're able to feel at home there, and my parents like them. And I know this is going to sound really stupid. Your parents don't have to like all your friends, is what they'll tell you when you're young. But trust me, it makes a lot of difference. I have some friends who, like now, since I've moved away,
Mm.
they will regularly like call my parents on their like birthdays, anniversaries, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll go. The other day, one of my friends had to go drop something off at my house, and of course I'm not there, but she
Yeah.
called my mom. She's like, so I'm coming for breakfast, and I didn't even know when this plan was made. I found out like
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
that
You
they
know,
sat
like
and had like some 2 hour breakfast.
I have friendships like that. And I thought
Yeah,
this was a very normal thing. But like I
not.
think except you, whoever I've told this to has always been like, wow, like
Yeah,
that's so like unfathomable to them. But yeah, I think that's like a big
yeah,
vibe check, right? That's a really good one. I think the other thing that I like value is people I don't have to be always in a good mood around. Like I'm not
good
expected
one.
to be fun and excited and happy and cheerful around them all the time because I'm not, surprisingly. But I love that they're accepting of it, like just understanding that that's how human behavior
Yeah,
works. And of course, it's mutual. So just that you're not putting that mask on. Because, like, say a guest visits your house. Obviously, like, even if you were crying like 10 minutes ago, you're going to wash your face, put on some makeup and, like, go give them coffee,
show
right?
up. Yeah,
But you don't want to do that with your friend. You want to be
yeah,
yourself. That's the whole point. So I feel like even if it's not a situation where like I'm crying and the other person's comforting, it's just that I'm not in a good mood. Like maybe I don't even want to talk about it. But that
yeah,
understanding of, like, oh, you're not in a good mood, it's fine.
yeah,
Right? Enough. But I think it truly makes a big difference when,
yeah,
especially if you're people who hang out in person a lot and,
yeah, yeah,
frequently. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, that's a big one. I think just being able to say I'm not okay in any friendship is great.
Yeah.
I also truly like, especially now that we've grown up. Wow, I say grown up as if I'm like 45.
Yeah, I was also like, oh, now we're accepting that we've grown up. Okay.
No, I mean like from 14 to 28. I like it when people don't force an emotional intimacy that doesn't exist. In the sense that I have made some friends in the recent times where just organically, everyone is very accepting of the fact that we're here to chill. We're not here
Mm.
to be some emotional crutches for each other. And the plans are very like, oh, let's play a board game, or, let's go try this new food place out, or let's go
Yeah.
watch this movie. It's got a lot to do with spending time with each other, but not in that deep emotional way that you sometimes do with like your closest friends. And I love it when people are okay with that. Because for a very
Yeah.
long time, I wasn't. When I was younger, I used to be this person who would be like, oh, if I've become good friends with this person, then I have to be there for them all the time. And I have to like, this has to become like a solid friendship, or this has to grow, or blah, blah, blah. Today, I've come to peace with the fact that
Yeah.
there are people that I love playing board games with. There are people that are great people to go to movies with because they want to watch everything. And that's great. And that's the level of the friendship. And that's a different kind of comfort in a friendship. And I very recently learned to value that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it again goes back to knowing that different relationships and friendships in your life
Yeah.
give you different kinds of gratification.
Yeah.
And it is utterly
I,
unfair to anyway expect
yeah.
everything from one person.
I love how
What I
subtly you're plugging in all the previous episodes. Guys, she has already hinted at two. So if you haven't watched them, heard them, please go do it.
Yeah, it's your
Good
loss.
job, Vish. Good job.
Thanks. The final one I have is understanding someone's love language. I think it's truly
Mm,
important in any relationship and definitely in a friendship because
yeah.
if you don't show up in ways people want you to show up, it's confusing because you
Yeah.
get drained of showing up and they don't feel like you've shown up. So, for example, fancy gifts is not my love language, right?
Mm,
So if someone constantly gives me fancy stuff and then assumes we're best friends,
yeah.
then I'm caught in a mix because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm a little obligated because you've done this to me, but it also doesn't really mean a lot to me in ways that I care about. So what do I do now? How do I take this
Mm.
relationship forward? So I don't know. I just feel like I really value friends who really take the time to understand that your love language is your love language and that's how you should be showing up for you.
Yeah, for me, my love language is definitely when people like, and I tend to do that to people in return also,
Yeah.
whether or not it's their love language sometimes. But like, if I know you're having a busy day, I can just maybe send you a meal because I know you
Mhm.
tend to forget to eat. Or like, if I know that, okay, today's been a really hectic day at work, I will generally send like something that I know that they love, whether it's a coffee or something that will just bring a smile to your face because that always
Yeah.
does it for me. I think that when someone makes, even if it's just a few taps on your phone, the fact that you thought of
Mm.
trying to bring a smile to my face, I think is great. So acts of service is definitely really, really high on my list. And I also think that when you're trying to make someone feel loved and cared for, etc., it's important to strike a balance between how you want to show love, because you
Mm.
also want to mentally know that you're doing your best
Yeah.
and understand how they want to feel loved. I think that's that balance between understanding what your love languages are really, really important. But yeah, what else do I
That I
like?
think is key.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, what else?
It's okay. That's enough. You don't have to like too much. Have your filters high, standards high. But okay, section three, icks.
Oh,
Like just general friendship icks. It doesn't have to be about one friend.
yeah, of course. This is not some expose episode.
I mean, if you want it to be, nobody's stopping you.
I'm okay. Okay, you go. You start.
I think the one thing for me is any friend who says you've changed truly triggers me. And not just like
Yeah,
my friendships. I've seen it happen to other friendships also because I feel like see people grow differently. People have different
yeah,
lifestyles, especially friends you've been friends with like in childhood or like in school. And then obviously you have different paths when you go to college and then your career, whatever, all
yeah,
that, right? So I think I'm not saying you have to grow at the same rate or at the same level. And I'm not saying if you grow differently, you cannot be friends, but it takes effort. It takes
yeah,
effort for you to understand their world and for them to understand yours. And
yeah,
you should either do it or not do it, right? Like just be friends who meet once in a while and, have like a fun chat about what you guys' childhood used to be because that I think is big too because
yeah,
whatever said and done, your friend who you made when you were like 25 is not going to understand the dynamic you have with your parents the same way like your
yeah,
friend from school is going to understand. So, you can connect on that level. But the fact that you expect that person to be the same person you knew when they were 14 is just sad for them too. Because I feel like as a friend, they want you to sort of celebrate the growth that they've had and whatever
yeah.
means. And people evolve and change and have different boundaries and different lifestyles. So I don't know. I think that's a trigger for me.
Yeah, people should change. I think that's something we all should focus on doing. I
Yeah.
don't know if this would qualify as an ick, but I don't like it when people are very ignorant or insensitive about things that the other person prioritizes. And I'll give you an example. Say there's a financial disparity between us. You're earning a lakh a month, and I'm earning, say, 50,000.
Mm.
Okay, naturally the spending priorities are going to be different, and I
Yeah.
think this happens a lot more in India because a lot of us live with our parents, and we
Mm.
already live a certain kind of lifestyle at home, which outwardly won't look like it's changed a lot, even if there is such a strong like financial disparity between our incomes.
Yeah.
But if you're my friend, then I expect you to be sensitive about the fact that okay, she might not want to go on a 5,000 rupees dinner every weekend, or that she might not want to go shop at like an outlet mall. She might want to just stop and shop at like H&M and Zara. There are people who could make this very awkward for you, and then there are people who could
Mm.
just inherently understand and not make you feel awkward about it. So that's
Yeah, no, I think
definitely,
that's huge. There's also like so many different ways you can hang out with people. It doesn't always
yeah,
have to involve money, and being
absolutely.
thoughtful about it makes sense. And the worst is when they're like, "I'll pay for you." That's
Yeah,
just,
no,
you
that's
know,
horrible. Please,
yeah,
no. I'm not a
yeah,
charity case. I don't need you to pay for me.
yeah,
It's not my priority right now. I don't want
yeah.
to spend on it.
Like there are some months that I just want to save. I don't want to spend.
Yeah,
Like, and I get it. Like of course, like if your friend is not up to doing anything, it's kind of annoying. But I think that's where again, like having an open conversation and the space to have one helps.
yeah. Financial disparity is just one thing, but even something like mental health.
Mm.
I hate it when someone is like, "Oh, you're feeling anxiety. It's just all in your head, like willpower." Like, I want to punch you. That's the willpower I have right now. I want to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
So I think anyone who is not sensitive to or accepting of what someone else's thoughts and priorities and issues are is a huge ick for me. You don't have to relate at all. I do not,
It's not an ick. They're just not your friend.
yeah. Like it's not, I'm not expecting you to relate to my mental health problems. I truly hope that none of my friends relate to it, but just be sensitive about it. It's
Yeah,
not that
of
tough.
course. I mean, all of us
Yeah.
are going through random shit in our lives that you
Yeah.
should know enough to know that, somebody else is going through
Yeah.
something and you gotta be sensitive.
Yeah. I think my
Um,
third
But
And
yes,
fine,
I will reiterate that this is not an ick. They're not your
yeah.
friend. If you're thinking about someone, please end that relationship.
I think my third and final ick, and this is very personal to me, is this is going to be controversial. I already know it,
Okay.
but so you want to smoke, smoke. You want to drink, drink, whatever. But when someone makes that their entire personality, where everything you need a joint to do whatever, your idea of fun is just staying at home and
Yeah.
smoking a joint all the time, or taking pills and then acting very cool about it, that can put me off sometimes. I will, depending on how close I am to that person, I will either have a conversation if I feel like they're self-sabotaging themselves, or
Yeah.
there will be a certain distance that I will create where I will be like, okay, I don't agree to this just from a very personal standpoint. I'm not pro abusing your body. Um, Again, there's a difference between someone doing it for fun once in a while versus someone like
Yeah.
making that their whole
Are
identity.
you just saying you can't be friends with them? Because the way I look at it is, first of all, there's no match in how we want to hang out, right?
Yeah,
Like, if how you
exactly.
want to hang out is so different from how I want to hang out, then how are we going to, like, what are we going to do
Exactly.
together? So
Exactly.
that's a problem. But on top of that, like, are you also saying that you cannot be friends with that person because whatever they have a certain, set of habits that you don't think, is the
No,
right way
it's
to live
not
life?
because our idea of fun and of hanging out and of, what an ideal weekend
Yeah.
plan looks like is so different. I will just not vibe with you anymore. I will not be
Mm,
able to relate to your thoughts. I will not be able
yeah.
to relate with your experiences. We won't even be able to make plans together because what you want to do and what I want to do is so different that it just won't match. So either like there'll just be a distance that comes in. And especially if you're, again, like I said, if that's something you do recreationally, like once in a while, for fun, go for it. I would love to watch someone get drunk or I and watch them make a fool of themselves. But if that becomes your whole personality again, like if that's the only thing on your mind, then it's an ick for me. I can't do it.
Yeah. There's just no overlap, I feel.
Yeah, there's no overlap.
For me, I think this is also like kind of recent. I think there's like this new ick I've developed around like hyper labeling friends. Like this is my childhood best friend. This is my college best friend. This is my like Pilates friend. And I'm like,
Work
yeah,
bestie.
fine. Yeah, work bestie. I get it, right? Like having a good work bestie is the best motivation you can have to go to
Agreed.
work, more than a paycheck, speaking from experience. But I think that said, I don't want to hyper categorize them and label them, and I don't want to be labeled like that, right? Because
Yeah.
I also think I kind of take these labels seriously, because at some level, when someone like thinks of me as, oh, like this is a workout friend or a book club friend, I'm like, okay, then like I don't want to do anything more. I'm like,
Yeah.
like in my
You create
head,
a
I'm like,
boundary.
that's what that relationship is about. So then we stick to that. If that's the dynamic you want to keep this in. But when you call me your childhood best friend, that also I take very seriously. Because then I'm like, oh, like I'm responsible for this person's life. So, and then sometimes I end up feeling like, oh, like I don't get the same energy back. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
how do we feel about just like saying this out loud and, calling them with certain labels? Because I don't know what that label means to you. Because there's no
Yeah.
definition for a best friend.
Yeah.
So I think that's a recent take that I've developed.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to labeling, right, the minute you use like a superlative term like best, which can
Mm,
technically only be one, you are you are limiting the growth of so many other friendships. You are putting unnecessary pressure on that one friendship. You're also creating this like competition between your friends in your head,
yeah.
which is ridiculous because I could be in distress and maybe like my best friend is busy or is also going through something and isn't able to be there
Yeah.
for me, but this other friend can. So does that mean this person's not my best friend anymore? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Or that this
No,
person
it's
suddenly
so
this other person
real.
becomes my best
Like,
friend.
final section, then versus now. Think about what you prioritized in a friendship when you are in your teen years versus now, like how it's changed now.
Okay. You want me to go?
Ah, yeah, you can go.
No, you start your section. You start.
What the hell? Everything was my section. Okay. I think the first thing for me is when I was younger, it was all about I need to make the best memories with this person.
Yeah.
Travel the world together, do that girls' trip, go to concerts, or just be there for each other's wins, live together in the same house. These were the dreams. And a lot of them have come true and they are fun, not denying. But I think now what like I value now is the low moments that I've had and how my friends have been there for me. Every time I think of a friend, and the first thing that I think of is, oh, when have they really been there for me? And what has that meant for me? And that's essentially why I'm like, this friendship means something to me. So I think it's really like going back to the fun memes versus the low moments where they've really been there for me.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of my friends that I still want to travel with. I still want to do like, see, like, I think every week, at least once, I will send them one of those memes of this and a staycation with your bestie kind of thing. But like you said, like, while those are still important, what really takes the cake is the security, the emotional security that they offer, that they're going to be there for you through the highs and the lows. And that just comes with experience. I also really, really value when a friend can do a brunch at 11 a.m. and partying at 11 p.m. I don't want to always have to. I like friendships where your plans could be pottery class one day, coffee walk another day, a fancy dinner a third day. Like, it doesn't have to be just one thing. Whereas in the past, the it plan used to be, oh, this new restaurant and we're all gonna go dress up, and because of course that was elusive to us, right? Back then you couldn't just waltz into a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, and now I think definitely the random let's do an errand friend matters the most, right? Because they're completely okay. Like 2 days ago, I went with a friend to pick up a plant that we bought on Marketplace. The whole hangout was just like us taking a train together, picking up that plant, taking a train back together. And I had such a good time. So I value that so much. That's so important.
I also, what I love in friendships today, which I don't think I gave this that much thought back then. So it's not really a then versus now, just a now, which is friends that make me better, friends that would want to work out together, friends that would want to, like maybe friends who recommend good books and movies, or like friends who would be willing to like learn a new sport together, or anything that makes me better, or not better, just I don't know the right word for it, productive, or I don't know the right word for it, but even I love to cook. So even if it's a friend who shares a recipe and be like, do you want to, make this together? Yes, let's do it. Like anything that's constructive, that's not, because I think we need it. The more that we grow up and the more that, we have so much to think about. Everything from, am I getting that next promotion? Am I getting that next client? What's going to happen to my love life, or whatever, the 15,000 things that are always in our heads. I think it's really important to find friends who help you disconnect.
If you've noticed this, but you always say 15,000. But
Yeah, I think it's a thing between 15 and 50. I don't know. Maybe that can become a game next time. Let's see how many times I say it.
that is the end of my 4 sections. Do you have any closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts are, it's very difficult to be vicious friend, and that is my achievement for today. With all
What
a list of
the
things
hell?
I don't like about in a friendship, I think
Okay.
I've done a good job.
To be fair, I'm feeling great about having done this brain dump. I needed it. And if anyone want to be friends with me, there is a public guide to it now. So please refer to it. And do tell us what has changed in your friendships, because I've been hearing this a lot from all of my friends and I'd love to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think throughout this entire conversation, whenever we spoke about something, there was always, especially something positive, there was always a person in my mind. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Anything that I said I liked or wanted or whatever in a friendship, it was not a wishful thought. It was not like, oh, I wish I had a friend who would do
I
that.
am 100% sure it was a wishful thought. I'd like to believe
The
so.
narcissism in this episode is just popping off, but okay. We'll take this offline, Wish. Bye.